We are podcastvideos.com. Our goal is to educate, enlighten, engage, and entertain. We believe in the power of love and transformation through storytelling. I am Jeremiah Pickett, also known as Baang, and to my right we have...
I'm Dan Kraft, also just known as Dan.
Parker Dodson, don't have a cool name.
Bob Halstead.
Eric Howerton. Some people call me Howie.
And he's admitting it on camera.
I am. It's official now.
You guys, this is our first official podcastvideos.com podcast, and we just wanted to do some introductions today. So, question of the day is, what would your 10-year-old self think about you right now?
Why don't you go first? Yeah. You're the closest to 10 years old.
Fair.
Should be freshest on your mind.
Fair enough.
Is it 10 years ago or the 10-year-old?
The 10-year-old you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like,
y'all got to think way back.
Dude, I was crazy when I was 10.
So nothing's changed.
Right, exactly. Like, did you know, did you even know what you wanted to do when you were 10 years old?
Bob had an answer ready to
Yeah,
run.
man. So I'll start. I grew up really poor. My dad got into plumbing, and I always figured that'd be my process as well, as just follow my dad, right? As I got older and figured out that I wanted more out of life, went to college, and things kind of grew from there. And here I am, you know, a few years later, trying to get this up off the ground with you guys.
Love it.
That was beautiful.
I like that.
I do too. We should just end with that.
A little
Because
short. Could have done a little bit.
I can segue nicely into that, though. When I was 10 years old, I was doing plumbing, too, because my parents were having their 6th kid, and we had to put in another bathroom. I knew pretty quickly I didn't want to be a plumber. But newspaper journalism sounded like a good idea.
At 10?
At 10?
Even back then, I was reading the Chicago Tribune every morning.
dang.
Wow.
Yeah.
Reading about the Cubs losing again.
And it's, even, I was up there not that long ago, the Chicago Tribune is not what it used to be either, but apparently there's these new things called podcasts. And so 10-year-old me would not have figured podcast,
But here you are.
I think you'd be okay with it.
Now, I would say that you're still you're in journalism still.
Yeah, just a little bit different format.
Just different format, which I am a big fan of journalists. I think that they're like some of the most professionally trained, they're professionally trained to interview people and to gather content, ask the right questions. That is an art form that I think is lifelong, eternal, and that's I love having journalists, on the team. So thanks, Dan, for joining us.
The studio's a lot smaller than we're not going to fit a whole printing press.
No, but that'd be cool if we had one running, because Dan and I were talking about yesterday, the smell of fresh paper coming off a printing press is something that unfortunately Baang and Parker, you guys will never be able to experience maybe ever again. But it was beautiful times. Those things would run, it sounded like a freaking jet taking off, rolling out papers.
How did it sound?
I mean,
yeah, we should point out that.
I mean, it was just, yeah.
We should point out that my experience in newspaper is what made me meet this guy, though.
It's true. Dan and I worked together. I was ripe age of 22 years old at the Northwest Arkansas Times, and we would. His paper was the Morning News. I was with the Northwest Arkansas Times, and we talk about how our scanners would go off for an accident or something, and we would see each other pulling out of in the alleyway trying to race to the accident, which was probably a little dangerous.
So y'all go way back.
We do. Yeah, 25 years ago.
Something like that. I don't know when it was 10, but I think we all realize not a lot has changed. And I've heard some of the stories. I know Bob has too. So I think we should.
Bob, all my leadership stories in college.
Together.
We did. Yeah. We were in a fraternity together. Yeah, Sigma Chi. And I was outstanding, led the fraternity to greater heights. I mean, really kept, risk management was probably my number one thing people were managing.
That's exactly what I remember as well. Yeah. Good job on that.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's just like holding our standard to goals and ideals.
Yeah.
Within fraternity, just like I really was. I mean, I'm proud of myself.
Born leader.
Well, part of my laughter, I just don't believe that for 1 second. But jump in, Howie. What
Baang said Howie.
You said that's what they
No,
call
that's
you.
cool. You're fine.
But you said it.
No, you're right. I did. I did kind of put it out on video.
I wouldn't have said it if you didn't say it.
Howie works. Howie works. No, at 10 years old, man, I kind of look at my 16-year-old daughter right now that, and it reminds me of myself, because I was just kicking it, honestly. Like, I had no idea what I was going to do at 10 years old.
Yeah.
I was just playing, enjoying life, free spirit. all as well.
I can relate to that. I mean, no idea. I used to really kind of look to the kids that knew at 10 years old in third grade they wanted to teach or something like that or be a doctor, because I'm like, bro, I just have no idea. I'm trying to go play basketball and, you know what I'm saying? Like run around. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about the same way. I mean, grew up playing basically every sport you could do, and just never really had the only thing I was really ever interested in was like marine biology, which is shocking to kind of know. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do for a long time, was marine biologist. Would be
Really
awesome.
just studying like sand
just
dollars.
Just thought it was fantastic. Yeah.
Looking at coral.
Yeah. Look at that fish. It's a cool fish. Just thought it was great.
Paid to scuba dive.
And then did nothing with it. And then well, very quickly realized that I'm terrible at math and science, and I was like, that might be a bit of a problem. So we stuck with sports. Which got me a scholarship in college and everything, and then that's when I started found photography and videography, which, as you weirdly kind of comes around to what we're doing today, which is pretty cool. So
Yeah, the first I remember like knowing what I was going to do is about I was 20 or so.
yeah,
Had my friends that were taking a photography class. They were coming back, and they were doing like blowing up prints in dark rooms and stuff. And I was just fascinated because I'd seen it on TV, you know, hanging out in the red lights, printing out stuff. And I started taking that course and just fell in love with that dark room, like developing film, developing prints. And then I was a whitewater raft guide, and I decided I want to be a nature photographer as I was looking at the water move. Remember those talks, Bob? But so I set out to be a nature photographer, and of course that has very little income whatsoever to it. So that was probably the first time I started understanding what I was going to do.
Yeah, the grass and the cute bunnies and the sunsets have no bank account.
They don't, man. Especially the cute bunnies.
Hey, but we still have some of your pictures out in the hallways.
No, we do. Yeah, that's basically what that's paid forward on. There's some prints and business that has nothing to do with nature photography.
All right. I mean, that's
Is
what
that
I
it?
got. Yeah, that's what I got.
Dang, that was
Cool.
easy.
That was fun, man.
Yeah. Same time, same place next week.
Let's do
Let's
it.
do it. I'm in.
I'm Baang.
I'm Dan.
Parker.
Bob.
And I'm Eric.
We'll see.
Howie.
Well, you know, everybody needs a nickname. You got Baang, you got Howie, Floor Bob.
P. Diddy.
Nah, see, it's
P.
just
Diddy.
Controversial. No.
It's too controversial.
Too many
Oh, is
stories
it?
going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that man's fled the country.
Yeah, he's a hot
There's a
one.
lot happening.
So I haven't watched the news in 25 years.
I haven't either, but I know that that's not a good thing to be talking about.
Yeah, no, I'll keep it like that. Yeah,
But he keeps
yeah,
calling me that all the
yeah.
time. So
I guess my background
To
really
be
is
fair, it was a little bit before things kind of hit the
minutes.
fan.
true. It was
Yeah.
before it became so controversial.
We'll come up with something.
What DC?
Episode 2. What's Parker's nickname?
I love it. That's great.
That's not a bad idea.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.